This is more of a little in-depth look of the Dragon Shrine deck. We've got lots of dragons, lots of shrines in this. So we've got as our commander, Go-Shintai of Life's Origin. If we pay a white, blue, black, red, green, and tap it, we're going to return target enchantment card from our graveyard to the battlefield. So that's good for getting some of our shrines back that may go to the graveyard. And whenever Go-Shintai of Life's Origin or another non-token shrine enters the battlefield under our control, we're going to create a 1/1 colorless shrine enchantment creature token. So lots of little creature shrines and a way to bring stuff back from our grave. So the first set of cards I want to talk about has to do with Virtue of Knowledge. Cost 5. It's an enchantment. It's also got an adventure, so let's look at the adventure first. Vantress Visions. It's an instant. So we're going to copy target activated or triggered ability we control, and we may choose new targets for the copy. I don't really use that very much. The more important one is, if a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So what's nice is, because this is an enchantment, we could use Go-Shintai of Life's Origin, our commander, to bring this back from the grave and put it on the battlefield if we can't afford to do that. So it doesn't trigger tons of cards in this deck, but it does trigger a fair amount. Ones that it'll affect are ones like High Bay, Forest Guardian. So when High Bay enters, we're going to reveal cards from the top of our library until we reveal a shrine card. We can put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So if you have the Virtue of Knowledge out, it's going to trigger twice. High Bay also has, if we spend a white, blue, black, red, green, and tap it, for each legendary enchantment we control, we're going to create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token with this token can't block or be blocked by non-spirit creatures. We've also got a Shrine Steward. So when the Shrine Steward enters the battlefield, we may search our library for an aura or shrine card, reveal it, and put it into our hand, then shuffle. Again, affected by the Virtue of Knowledge. All of these cards will be, because they have enter triggers or are triggered by things entering. We've got Tiamat. It's a little expensive. Costs 2, a white, blue, black, red, green. But it's got flying. One of our dragons here. And when Tiamat enters the battlefield, if you cast it, search your library for up to 5 dragon cards not named Tiamat that each have different names, reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle. We've also got Lathless, Dragon Queen. Whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under our control, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. We can also pay 1 in a red, so dragons we control get +1/+0 until end of turn. We've got Nesting Dragon. So flying and landfall. Because Virtue of Knowledge does say, if a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability, so when a land enters the battlefield under our control, it's going to cause this ability to trigger. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under our control, we're going to create a 0/2 red dragon egg creature token with Defender. And when this creature dies, create a 2/2 red dragon creature token with flying. And you could pay a red, and this creature gets +1/+0 till end of turn. We also have the Scourge of Valkas. It's got flying. And whenever Scourge of Valkas or another dragon enters the battlefield under our control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons we control. If we pay a red, Scourge of Valkas gets +1/+0 till end of turn. We have the Northern Air Temple. When Northern Air Temple enters, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of shrines you control. Whenever another shrine you control enters, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So that's whenever a shrine enters, and what's nice is on Go-Shintai, whenever another non-token shrine enters, we get to create a colorless shrine. So that just keeps the shrines coming, and we can trigger Northern Air Temple again. We've got Impact Tremors. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under our control, Impact Tremors deals 1 damage to each opponent. Again, with the tokens or the dragons. We've got Yoshimaru, Ever Faithful. Whenever another legendary permanent enters the battlefield under our control, we're going to put a +1/+1 counter on Yoshimaru, Ever Faithful. And what's nice is a lot of our dragons are legendary, and a lot of our shrines are legendary. We've got the Southern Air Temple. When the Southern Air Temple enters, we're going to put X +1/+1 counters on each creature we control, where X is the number of shrines we control. And whenever another shrine we control enters, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control. So again, Go-Shintai will be creating those 1/1 shrine tokens, helping to trigger that as well. We got Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa. It's got flash and flying. And when it enters the battlefield, another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as we control them. If we pay a white, blue, black, red, green, it gains +5/+5 till end of turn. We also have the Spirit Oasis. When it enters, we're going to draw a card for each shrine we control. And whenever another shrine we control enters, we're going to draw a card. We've also got Ganex, Astral Hunter. It's got flying. Whenever Ganex, Astral Hunter, or another dragon enters the battlefield under our control, we're going to create a treasure. So we get a little bit of ramp there. And we've also got Kyoshi Island Plaza. So this depends on how many basic lands you also add to this deck. It is a 5-color deck, so you might not have a lot of basic lands in here, because you do want to be able to have flexibility to cast the spells. But when it enters, we get to search our library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the number of shrines we control. We're going to put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Whenever another shrine we control enters, we're going to search our library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. So we got a few little ramp type things in here as well. We've got Azusa, Lost But Seeking. So we could play 2 additional lands on each of our turns. Try to really ramp up there. We've also got Gigantha, the Wellspring. Originally, when I started making this deck, Gigantha was the commander before Go-Shintai came out. And I just had other shrines in here. But I decided to keep him in the deck there. It's got Companion, we don't care about that. But we can tap it to add a white, blue, black, red, and green. So what's nice about that is a lot of things like Go-Shintai itself has the white, blue, black, red, green, and some other things do. So we can tap that and get the mana right away to pay for these abilities. But it can't be spent to pay generic mana costs, which we won't do anyway. We've also got Ramos, Dragon Engine. So whenever we cast a spell, we're going to put a +1/+1 counter on Ramos for each of that spell's colors. And we could remove 5 +1 counters from it and add 2 white, 2 blue, 2 black, 2 red, and 2 green from our mana pool, or to our mana pool. But we can only do that once each turn. We've also got Mystic Skull. Don't really know why I have Mystic Skull in here, except that it looks cool. If we pay 1 and tap it, we can add a mana of any color. If we pay 5 and tap it, we can transform it. And we will transform it into Mystic Monstrosity. So lands we control have tap to add 1 mana of any color. It's also a 5/6 creature. We've also got Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest. This is a really nice one to get if you do tutor for a shrine, at least for the mana. Because at the beginning of our pre-combat main phase, we're going to add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of shrines we control. Which, when this starts going with getting shrines on the board, can end up being quite a bit. And we've also got the Dragon Kami Reborn. So it's a saga. For the first 2 chapters, we're going to gain 2 life. We're going to look at the top 3 cards of our library, exile one of them face down with a hatching counter on it, then put the rest on the bottom of our library in any order. On the 3rd chapter, we're going to exile it and return it to the battlefield transformed under our control. It's going to turn into Dragon Kami's Egg. It's an enchantment creature, egg. And whenever Dragon Kami's Egg or a dragon you control dies, you may cast a creature spell from among cards you own in exile with the hatching counters on them without paying its mana cost. So just a little fun side thing to do. Cheat something out. We got a few other cards in here, like Corlessa, Scale Singer. That's a Dragon Bard. We can look at the top card of our library anytime, and we can cast dragon spells from the top of our library. So what's nice about that is we do have a lot of dragons in here. They're expensive, but that's why we have that shrine that can give us mana. We've also got Aang's Journey. It's got a kicker at 2. We can search our library for a basic land card, but if the spell was kicked, we can instead We can instead search our library for a basic land card and a shrine card. Reveal those cards, put them into hand, then shuffle, and we gain 2 life. So there is a shrine we're going to tutor for. If you know shrines, you probably know which one, but we'll get to it a little bit later. We've also got the Grim Tutor. Search our library for a card, then put that card into our hand. Shuffle our library, lose 3 life. And this is the card that we would like to tutor for, or bring back from our grave if it ends up going to our grave. We just hope that it doesn't get exiled. It's going to cost a white, blue, black, red, green. At the beginning of our upkeep, we may search our library and or graveyard for a shrine card and put that onto the battlefield. Then shuffle. If an ability of another shrine you control triggers while you control 6 or more shrines, that ability triggers an additional time. So you can get super value off of your shrines. This is probably the most important shrine you have. It's going to set forth the engine you have going, and as you get more shrines out, the more powerful everything gets. With the card draw, with the loss of life to the opponents, with the mana that you could produce from that other shrine there, with creating tokens. So this is one of your most important pieces. It doesn't mean the deck won't work without it, but it makes everything so much better. So here's some Here's some token generation pieces. We got Advera Hellkite. It's got flying because it's a dragon. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, we're going to create a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying. We've also got Rith, Liberated Primeval. So it's got flying and ward 2. Other dragons you control have ward 2. And at the beginning of your end step, if a creature or planeswalker an opponent controlled was dealt excess damage this turn, we're going to create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. We have the Dragon Master Outcast. Very cheap. At the beginning of our upkeep, if we control 6 or more lands, we're going to put a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. We got the Dragonkin Berserker. It's got first strike. Both abilities we control cost 1 less to activate for each dragon we control. It's got Boast 4 and a red. We're going to create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. So Boast does activate this ability only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. We've also got a Dragon Cultist. It's an enchantment background. Commander creatures you own have, at the beginning of your end step, if a source you controlled dealt 5 or more damage this turn, we're going to create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. We've also got Go-Shintai of Shared Purpose. It's got Vigilance. And at the beginning of our end step, we could pay 1. If we do, we create a 1/1 colorless spirit token for each shrine we control. And we've got the Honden of Life's Web. At the beginning of our upkeep, we're going to put a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token onto the battlefield for each shrine we control. Here are some damaging effects, life loss effects, kind of removal type stuff for things that'll slow down the opponent. We've got Drakuseth, Maw of Flames. It's got flying. Whenever it attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. We've also got Inferno of the Star Mounts. It can't be countered. Flying and haste. And if we pay red as many times as we want, it's going to get +1/+0 until end of turn. And when its power becomes 20 this way, it deals 20 damage to any target. Any target. We've also got Sanctum of Tranquil Light. If we pay 5 and a white, we get to tap target creature, but the ability costs 1 less to activate for each shrine we control. And we could pay that as many times as we want, tap multiple creatures. We got Ojute, Soul of Winter. It's got flying and vigilance. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, tap target non-land permanent an opponent controls. That permanent doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. We've got Scale Lord Reckoner. It's got flying. Whenever a dragon you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. We've also got Sanctum of Shattered Heights. If we pay 1, discard a land card or shrine card, which we could afford with Go-Shintai because you can always bring it back from the grave. But if you do that, it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, where X is the number of shrines you control. We've got the Honden of Infinite Rage. At the beginning of your upkeep, it deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of shrines you control. We've got Go-Shintai of Ancient Wars. It's got First Strike. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, it deals X damage to target player or planeswalker, where X is the number of shrines you control. We've also got Karthus, Tyrant of Jund. It's got Flying and Haste. And when it comes into play, we gain control of all dragons, then untap all dragons. So this is good if somebody else is playing dragons, or if somebody's stealing your dragons. And then other dragon creatures you control have haste. We also got Hellkite Charger. It's got Flying and Haste. And when it attacks, we could pay 5 and 2 red. If we do, we're going to untap all attacking creatures, and after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. We've also got Relentless Assault. We're going to untap all our creatures that attack this turn, and we can declare an additional attack this turn. That's good for your dragon damage getting through. We've also got Sanctum of Stone Fangs. At the beginning of our pre-combat main phase, each opponent loses X life and we gain X life, where X is the number of shrines you control. We've also got the Go-Shintai of Hidden Cruelty. It's got Death Touch. At the beginning of our end step, we could pay 1, and if we do, we destroy target creature with toughness X or less, where X is the number of shrines we control. We've also got Narset, Parter of Veils. So the big thing is, each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. Shut their card draw down. If we minus 2 her, we can look at the top 4 cards of our library. We can reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them and put them into our hand, and then put the rest at the bottom of our library in a random order. We got Teferi, Time Raveler. So, most importantly is, each opponent can cast spells only anytime they could cast a sorcery. So you could stop them from casting spells on your turn. If you +1 it, until your next turn, you can cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. If we -3 it, we return up to 1 target artifact, creature, or enchantment to its owner's hand, and we draw a card. We've got, okay, Ichthyomorphosis. It's an enchant creature, enchant aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue fish with base power and toughness of 0/1. So this is kind of put on creatures that are attacking you there and hopefully slowing down the opponent while you build up your shrines. We've also got Frogify, enchant creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue frog creature with base power and toughness of 1/1. We've also got Kesmina's Transmutation. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and has base power and toughness of 1/1. We've got Stasis Field. Enchanted creature has base power and toughness of 0/2, has defender, and loses all other abilities. And we've also got Paralyze. Target creature is not untapped as normal during untap phase. Creature's controller can spend 4 during their upkeep to untap it. Tap target creature when Paralyze is cast. That's just to slow the opponent down a bit while you build up your shrines. And once you build up lots of shrines, you could build up dragons. Here's a few more cards with Dramoka the Eternal. It's got flying, and whenever a dragon you control attacks, we get to bolster 2. So that's kind of nice to start buffing up things. We've got Go-Shintai of Boundless Vigor. It's got Trample. At the beginning of our end step, we could pay 1. When we do, we're going to put a +1/+1 counter on target shrine for each shrine we control. It's a shrine buff. We've got Ancestor Dragon. Whenever one or more creatures we control attack, we're going to gain 1 life for each attacking creature. And we've got Honden of Cleansing Fire. At the beginning of our upkeep, we're going to gain 2 life for each shrine we control. So you can hopefully avoid combat damage, death. So the last of the cards in this deck, we're looking at Honden of Night's Reach. At the beginning of our upkeep, target opponent discards a card for each shrine we control. We've also got Go-Shintai of Lost Wisdom. It's got flying, and at the beginning of our end step, we can pay 1. If we do, target player mills X cards, where X is the number of shrines we control. Got some card draw here with Sanctum of Calm Waters. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may draw X cards, where X is the number of shrines you control. If you do, discard a card. This is really nice for the card draw, and also it says you may draw X cards. So you don't have to if you don't want to, because with all the shrines you're going to get out, you could end up drawing yourself out of your deck. Thassa's Oracle is probably good in this deck, but I don't have it in here. Probably be a good win con. We've got Honden of Seeing Winds. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card for each shrine you control. So this one here forces you to draw those cards. So you got to be kind of careful sometimes. Now you do have Teferi, who could remove an enchantment from the board. So if this is killing you, hopefully you got him out and you can remove it to prevent yourself from drawing yourself to death. We got the Reliquary Tower. We have no maximum hand size. That's pretty good. Now, if we don't have that, and we've had to discard a bunch of cards into our grave, we do have Harness Infinity. It's a bit expensive there with 1, 3 black, 3 green. But we could exchange our hand and our grave. So if we've been discarding a lot of cards because we've been drawing a lot and we don't have maximum hand size, we can always swap our hand and grave and get a whole bunch of cards back into our hand. And hopefully, especially if we had to discard, or somebody made us discard our Reliquary Tower and it's in our grave, we can use this, swap it out, play Reliquary Tower, have no maximum hand size, don't have to worry about getting rid of stuff. Now for stuff in our grave, we got Mythos of Brokos. If blue and black was spent to cast this spell, we get to search our library for a card, put that card into our grave, then shuffle our library. So this too is like a tutor. Then we get to return up to 2 permanent cards from our grave to our hand. We've also got Breath of Life. Return target creature card from our graveyard to play. This will be more for your dragon or your creature shrine. And we've also got Tanab the Harvester. Whenever it's got flying, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, we could pay 2 and a black. If we do, we get to put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under our control. So that's the last of the cards there. Once it starts going, the deck almost plays itself with all the shrine triggers that are going on and your choice to pay for the shrine triggers. That includes life loss for the opponents, damage for the opponents, getting a whole bunch of tokens to attack wide, getting a whole bunch of mana to cast big expensive dragons to be big scary creatures. You can go any which way. You'll have lots of card draw, so you'll have lots of options if you tutor for particular cards. Card draw, I usually go for the card draw and the mana producing one, and the Sanctum of All. But you have to be careful with the card drawing one because you can draw yourself out. I've had that happen because I just couldn't remove it. But yeah, that was I call it a Dragon Shrine deck because we got Dragon Tribal and Shrine Tribal in it. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave some people some ideas for their own Shrine and or Dragon decks or whatever they want. You could make a Shrine Eldrazi deck. And, yep, thanks for watching.